right, well, good morning. Thank you for coming to Eggs and Issues. My name is Berkenda. You are here at the Orange Chamber of Commerce. We are at the April installment of Eggs and Issues. Today, as you can see, we have a very special guest, Chairman Donald P. Wagner. Thank you, Don, for coming.
Pleasure's mine.
Before we get started, I do have something to say. What happened this weekend? Anybody do anything fun on Saturday? Join me in giving a warm congratulations to our first ever Duke of Orange, J.C. Cortez of Elks Lodge 1475. He is not here, but let's give him a round of applause. So excited to crown him. So excited for the 12 contestants that joined us that day. Don, you missed out. It was a really good time. It was sold out. So much fun. Good food. I think Green Teak was a sponsor. Duchess of Cambridge was a sponsor. Amazing event.
Awesome.
Well, with that, I am going to get started here. So we will go ahead and make this an open format. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of information about Chairman Wagner, and then we'll get into some questions. If you all have any questions, Dawn is actually here for you, not for me to be asking questions. So if anyone has a question, by raise of hand, go ahead and just raise your hand. We'll go ahead and get your question answered. Time permitting, of course. So Chairman Donald P. Wagner is honored to serve the 3rd District of Orange County at the Board of Supervisors. He is proud to represent approximately 630,000 diverse residents in the communities of Anaheim Hills, Irvine, Lake Forest, North Tustin and Tustin, Orange, Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita, the unincorporated canyons, Villa Park, and Yorba Linda. Chairman Wagner is a former Community College District trustee, 6-year assemblyman, and past mayor of Irvine. He is also a practicing attorney and UCLA Bruin for life.
That could be true. Go Bruins.
His 20
come
years.
on, guys. Yeah, go Bruins. I usually get a little bit more than that. There we go. Now we're talking.
Come on, we got to get some cheers in there. His 20 years in public service reflects the dedication to public safety and quality of life improvements. He has expanded public resources without raising taxes, as he did in 2019 when he reopened Irvine Lake for the public. He currently serves on several committees, including the Orange County Fire Authority, Orange County Transportation Authority, the Transportation Corridor Authority, Southern California Association of Governments, Orange County Council of Governments, and the Orange County Sanitation District. Chairman Wagner lives in the unincorporated area of his district with his wife, and previously in Irvine, where they raised and educated their 3 children. Thank you again, Don, for coming, and welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure. Happy to be back. You guys keep inviting me back. I'll keep coming, especially for the breakfast. Thank you to our new friends at Mayfair. So appreciate your breakfast. All right.
Well, first of all, I want to say, congrats on chairman of the OC County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you.
What is the difference now that you are chairman versus supervisor?
The couple of big differences are that, number one, I am chairing the meetings.
Okay.
Which sometimes mean you need to pay a little bit more attention than you do other times. But beyond that, there's a little bit more responsibility for managing the agenda, for putting items on the agenda late, for kind of massaging the items that are going on to the agenda. You work a little bit more with administrative staff on just the business operations of the board. The other big thing that I found is that I do end up out and about a little bit more than I otherwise would.
Okay.
I do try to get out in my district as much as possible, but as the chairman of the board, I'm sometimes in other districts representing the county, representing the board, and so there's a little bit more on the public relations side of the house as well. Otherwise, not much. It's still... You can do anything with 3 votes, and you can't do anything if you're the only vote. It's still a matter of trying to make the arguments with your colleagues, doing what we can in terms of the business of the county. But there is a little bit more administrative and a little bit more public relations, I would say.
Okay. How are you enjoying it so far?
It's great fun. Look.
That's a loaded question, but...
Okay, so the truth of the matter is that I've been privileged, and I probably said it and maybe to you guys before, because you do keep inviting me and I do keep coming back, and I thank you for that. You're going to get tired of hearing that bio, but at the end of the day, it's great to be out in the community and I've had the privilege of serving in a bunch of different positions, as you say, a college trustee, a mayor, state legislature, kind of up and down through the special districts, state, municipal. This is the sweet spot, in my opinion, because this is most of what we do isn't ideological. Most of our decisions go through 5-0, and they're just we're trying to do good governance, the nuts and bolts of the county governance. There's a very robust budget to work with, so you can get things done. We can talk about a few of the specific things that I'm able to do in my district and that my colleagues are able to do in their districts. And to get anything done, I only need to come up with 2 more votes. When I was up in Sacramento, I had to come up with 61 other votes and a governor, and I didn't have 61 friends in Sacramento. So it's the sweet spot. It's important issues, meaty subjects, but at the end of the day, you can actually move government in a direction that you think is the right one to go. Easier here than in some of those other positions. So how am I enjoying it? It's best job in politics.
Nice. Love that. Thank you for doing that.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So last month we hosted Chief Dan Adams, Police Chief Dan Adams, and one of our key topics there was Plaza Park and the destruction of Plaza Park. Recently heard that you donated $200,000 to help fix that. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your thoughts behind helping with that?
Sure. I'm sure everybody here knows the issue, but stolen vehicle police chase through the heart of the city. Driver cartwheels through the park, takes out the fountain. Thankfully walked away in handcuffs, but walked away. And so there's significant amount of damage to the plaza. The irony is the city council had earlier, either that week or the week before, decided it was time to put in some security upgrades and make the area around the plaza a little bit more robust for pedestrians and to avoid exactly this type of situation. So what I was able to do with some of the funds allocated to my district was contribute $200,000 towards that effort. Now, I don't know what the final bill will be for it. I've talked to a couple of council members, and the estimate is in the $600,000 range. So whether it comes in at that or less or more, but the county is putting $200,000. Vince Sarmiento, who also represents part of Orange, is contributing some of his as well. We're helping to defer the cost. The idea being, it's great to get that place back to normal. It's an icon here, not just in Orange, but in the entire county. And it's cool. They were able to find, I guess, the grandson of the original maker of the tiles, and they're going to try to match the tiles. It's great to get that back, but it's also important to get those safety features in.
Right.
So we ponied up with some money available to my district for increasing the safety around that plaza, so that, God forbid, something like this happens again, you don't send a vehicle cartwheeling through,
right,
and nobody gets hurt.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was really important, is that timing of that. It seems like there's always somebody out there. We have that live kind of feed that reflects on that at all times, and so there's people out there all times of the day and night. Chapman is right there. Students are walking to and from. So it was just, really by grace that
got lucky that night. Yes. Yes.
So, and which we can replace. So let's talk about fentanyl. I know that the opioid crisis is something that you are very passionate about. When we chatted last year, you mentioned that, I guess, opioid deaths or fentanyl deaths specifically were up, I think, 1,100%. You mentioned since 2016. Have we seen, is that going down? Is that going up? What's happening? So
what's happening there is and remains a public health crisis. The numbers I had heard were actually 1,600% in the county of Orange since 2016, 2,200% throughout the state. And the problem not only remains out there, but I would argue, is getting worse. We are seeing more and more fentanyl out in the community, and we are paying the price for that. And the price is severe. So what I've been doing is partnering with a number of our local police, fire, medical community to help make Narcan, the opioid reversal agent, more available, and also raising awareness. I've been out to all of the city councils in my district, and all of them have unanimously gotten behind the effort that we're making to get some laws changed up in Sacramento to crack down on the dealers of fentanyl or those who are adulterating what they are dealing with fentanyl. Okay. And so we've been trying at the county level. And when I say we, it's not just me. I mean, my board is unanimously behind this. We put $20,000 to every school district in my district to get Narcan into the high schools. The theory there being that often, the first responders have Narcan available. All the police cars, all the sheriff's cars, the ambulances, the fire, when they respond, all of them have Narcan, but they're not always the first responders. The first responder is sometimes the teacher in the classroom, or who finds the kid in a restroom. The first responder is a parent who finds their kid going through a fentanyl poisoning. And so we're trying to raise awareness and get the reversal agent as widely dispersed as possible. I'm not doing it alone. Just this morning I met Janice, who is here with us and is working with, is it a nonprofit, yes, Janice?
It's a nonprofit. We have a 501c3 and a 501c4.
For those out there, 501c3 and a 501c4, raising awareness, raising money. The idea being that we've got to get the message out to Sacramento. Locally, we get it. As I say, I went to my, I've got her card already, but thank you.
Thank you.
fentanylsolutions.org. And this is a shameless plug for Janice and her organization. But real quick, there are a number of bills up in Sacramento that are cracking down on fentanyl and fentanyl dealers and trying to stem the tide, and they're dying in committee, which is no surprise to me. When I was up in Sacramento, there was a policy. It was explicit. They weren't shy about it. They weren't quiet about it. It was stated policy of the majority party that no bill that increases a penalty, that potentially increases jail time, that otherwise cracks down and makes something a crime that maybe wasn't before, none of those bills get a vote out of the Public Safety Committee. Forget getting to the floor of the Assembly or the State Senate. They don't get out of committee. That is the explicit policy of the majority party in Sacramento. It was when I was there. It remains today. All of those fentanyl bills this cycle, to my knowledge, have died. Hopefully somebody can pick it up in a trailer bill or can try again. And Janice and a groundswell is what it's going to take to get a fighting chance to increase the penalties on fentanyl. And I'm focused on it. We're trying to do it because, sadly, it is increasing out there. It's not getting better.
And I think I saw on your Twitter, you guys are hosting, is it a session on the 26th of April? What's that about?
Which one is the 20? I've got, okay.
OC Healthcare, I think, is hosting an opioid.
We've done in the past, and we are continuing to do fentanyl town halls.
Okay.
And the idea being exactly what I'm talking, raise awareness.
Okay.
Get parents. We did one not too long ago at Beckman High School. Get parents out to say, you may not think this is something in our communities, you may not think your kid is at risk, but the truth is, it is in our communities, and your kid potentially is at risk. And a quick story on that, when I was going around all the different city councils to get them behind our fentanyl resolution, a city councilman, not in Orange, but in one of the other cities in my district, told the story from the dais, so I'm not speaking out of school here. His sister had been up studying for an exam 3 weeks before that, had taken something to help her study. It was laced with fentanyl. She's dead. It isn't something you necessarily think is coming your way, but it's out there, and it could be. So we are trying to raise that awareness, doing town halls. The healthcare agency, the county's healthcare agency, gets it. They're behind it. They're helping with these town halls. I've got a couple coming up, but that one on the 26th is coming. I encourage, maybe not so much you guys, although anybody is welcome, but if you know parents, high school age, junior high school age, let's get people out there so they hear about this and know this is in our neighborhoods.
Thank you so much for your work on that. So the state of emergency in California ended, I guess, about 6 weeks ago. What does that mean for Orange County?
Well, it doesn't, to be honest,
anything.
It didn't mean very much of anything. And the reason it didn't mean much of anything is because, here in Orange County, we made sure that we never did anything that was not required of us by the state of California. And so if the state was going to come out and close restaurants down or enforce outdoor dining, or if the state was going to close the schools or come into a workplace and require distancing and that, whatever the state did, we couldn't stop. We just didn't want to double down and add any additional restrictions. So there were no restrictions in place for the County of Orange above and beyond what the state was requiring. And then two things. We also, early on in the emergency, passed our own resolution that said, and the moment the state emergency ends, Orange County's ends too. We don't need to reconvene. We don't need to have a vote. It's done. And so we tied ours to the state. And the moment the state lifted its emergency, ours ended automatically. But as all of you know, living here in Orange County, in the couple of months leading up to the end of the state's emergency, nobody was doing anything. Nobody was enforcing any of the rules particularly. And so I don't think it made any practical difference to the lives of folks here in Orange County. I will say that the federal government, as I understand it, and it may be the state also, still up until recently required masks in medical facilities.
Yes.
And I went to do a routine blood draw the other day at Quest, and they put a mask on. It's like, really? But okay, your place. I'll put the mask on. So at the end of the day, it at this point is up to the individual businesses, and we are allowing folks to make their own decisions and go about leading their own lives and be safe.
All right.
Masking expired on April 3rd.
Say again?
Masking expired on April 3rd.
For the healthcare,
healthcare.
yeah, it expired April 3rd, and I can tell you from experience, at least one place is still doing it. Okay. It's private business. They get that right.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. So since we're talking about the county, let's talk about finances.
Okay.
So how are we doing financially? How's the district doing, and how are we doing in the county?
Okay.
Budget finances.
Yeah, the budget situation is deserving of close scrutiny. I'm not ringing warning bells. I'm saying keep a close eye. And the reason I say that is because our budget last year was $8.8 billion, of which the discretionary amount to spend was $975 million. So less than $1 billion of the $8.8 billion. The rest of it was funding we get from the federal government, funding we get from the state government for specific programs. And the $975 was what we use to pay our employees, to run our sheriff's and DA's office, to run our healthcare agency, the discretionary budget of the county. And I give you those numbers because in addition to those numbers, the other one you need to know is $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion was the amount of COVID relief from the federal government we got here in Orange County. The cities got their own to the tune of like $500 million or so, spread around the 34 cities of Orange County. We got $1.2 billion. Now, it isn't coming this year, and when you get $1.2 billion and your discretionary budget is $975 million, and then that 1.2 is going away, it could be tight. And so we're just now getting into the budget cycle. I have met with a couple of departments. I had a meeting just yesterday with the DA to talk about their funding levels and their budget for the coming year. We're just starting to dig into it. I'm not ringing warning bells. I am, however, saying that it's going to be a little bit tighter than it was last year in the teeth of COVID because it was just raining federal dollars. It won't be raining federal dollars this year, nor should it. Feds can't afford it, but that's never stopped them before. I think it will stop them this year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Let's take some time for questions here. Anyone have a question for Chairman?
Can any
Andrew.
parent of a teenager get fentanyl from like a pharmacy, or is there a place for them to get it? if they
Narcan.
Narcan. You can get fentanyl anywhere. The answer to that is complicated. The federal government recently agreed to make fentanyl available. Now I'm doing it. Narcan, naloxone. Narcan is the like the Kleenex. Naloxone available over the counter, and so it is becoming more widely available, and so it doesn't hurt to have a stash. Janice, you know more, or
Well,
where's a good
actually,
place?
You can usually go like to the CVS if they have it. They can give it to you, but you have to ask the pharmacist.
Yeah.
We have it when we do our lunch and learns. We give out Cloxado is another brand name.
Cloxado, yeah.
Naloxone. It has a double dose in it than the regular Narcan. But you can definitely ask them. Every parent here should have it in their first aid kit in their car. So the one we give out, we have get 2 a pack. And that's because you never know who you want to see overdose, and you can literally save a life. It could be your child's friend, and like you said earlier, it could be just as simple as your child tells a friend, "Hey, I have anxiety about this test," and then the friend says, "I know someone that has something to help you with that." And next thing you know, they're taking what they think is a Xanax, and it's not a Xanax.
Yeah, her taking aspirin.
Right?
It-
It's just filler and fentanyl, but it looks like a Xanax.
Yeah. Janice is saying, for those of you out there in TV land, that you can get it from the drugstores. Ask the pharmacist, and in addition, the event she does gives out one of the opioid reversals. Our town hall, I think we make some available as well. It is available out there. Be prepared and ask for it, and go get some. And it may not be your kid; it may be the kid next door. But if you're the first responder, you're going to want it.
See a question in the back.
Are there any plans to bolster in the future working with schools and other organizations to promote preventive awareness in fentanyl in schools?
Yeah, the question is, are we working with any of the schools to help raise awareness and promote the availability of the reversal agents? And the answer is yes. First of all, my grant went out to each of the school districts. And to be honest, the school districts are aware of the problem, and every one of them in my district took the grant. No surprise, here's money, and they said yes, thank you. But it comes with strings. It's to be used for this purpose, but nevertheless, they are willing to take it and use it. So the schools are receptive, and we, as I say, we're doing some town halls. One of the ones we did recently at Beckman. Beckman is in the Irvine Unified School District, even though it's in Tustin. So the school districts are getting behind this. I am scheduled to go talk to the Orange County Board of Education in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, at one of their meetings. Enlist them, and again, and they've invited me. They know the issue is out there. I'm not going to have to sell them on the importance of this. It's the opportunity to talk to them and to the parents and the folks that pay attention to them to raise awareness. So yes, the school districts are involved, and I think recognizing this as the one of the big issues of the day. There are a lot of others, like whether our kids can read and write and do arithmetic, but we got to keep them alive.
I see.
Is there a town hall set for Orange?
Is there a town hall set for Orange? The answer is close to yes. San Diego Community College is in Orange or is it in?
Yeah.
It is, because it's the top of the hill up there. I wasn't sure because it's down the hill from me whether it's North Tustin or not. But the answer is yes. Date, please?
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
7 p.m.
Someone asked me how many events do I do a night or a week, and the answer is 3 or 4. This Thursday, I've got 2. Thursday alone. This Thursday, San Diego Community College and Jordan Wu and Nicole Jones from the Villa Park City Council are going to be there, and Jake Gillenhammer and Dennis Bilodeau from Orange are going to be there. I'm going to be there, and 7 o'clock, and that one is in Orange. Yes. And that's not a fentanyl town hall. We will no doubt talk fentanyl, but that is a community-wide town hall, chance to talk with me, chance to talk with city council members in the community. So that's the purpose of that one. There is not a specific Orange fentanyl town hall yet.
Yes.
No.
We're planning it.
Yes, I think
We're
Well,
planning it.
we-
We're
okay.
got all the right people.
Awesome.
Question.
Could you help me get my middle arms around Orange County Green Power?
Can I help you get your arms around Orange County Green Power? Oh my Lord. So the answer is complicated, and the answer is not what you read in the press. The story as I see it, and I am a member of the board of directors of Orange County Power Authority. County decided to get in a year or so ago. The idea being that you could have customers, power customers, sign up to receive a larger mix of green power, which the Power Authority would buy off the market, basically just like the energy companies do. And the mix would be greener, more hydro, more wind than you would get from Edison, for example. And for those who wanted that greener power, this was an option for them. These are vehicles that were set up by the state a decade ago. They're in use up and down the state. And Orange County said, all right, we're going to give this option to our citizens. And it's done city by city. So each city has to join or not. Lake Forest joined and got out. Irvine helped set it up and has joined. Huntington Beach, Fullerton, Buena Park, and the county unincorporated area got involved. There have been challenges to the organization. My view of those challenges are that a lot of them, if not all of them, were growing pains, startup challenges, and I have to say it. It was started by a Republican and run by a Republican, and green energy is a value, is an issue pushed by the other side. And we saw, I think we saw an enormous pushback from activists who should like this, who argued for this, but who raised procedure and process issues that almost all CCAs go through, could have been dealt with, just didn't like the political makeup. And eventually the county pulled out at a profit, I might add. And the other cities, some of the other cities are starting to look at whether they continue to do this. The activists took over the Irvine Council, put themselves on the board, and now are taking the position, oh, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe we do need to just get rid of the Republicans and we can run this. I have no idea, Larry, what the future of that organization is. I will tell you this, as of the last 2 months or so, it has, at the lowest level, been able to provide cheaper power than Edison. Not much, but cheaper. And so it is able to perform, but so much mud has been thrown at it, I don't know whether it can survive. The chairman of the organization is out of Fullerton, and the Fullerton City Council is thinking of pulling out. The Huntington Beach Council, they ran on the notion of getting out of the Power Authority. So, it may just be the political activists in Irvine left holding this bag. The good news is that this agency is in the black, significantly in the black. When we got announced that we were getting out, we, the county, announced that we were getting out, no power had been provided yet to any citizen of Orange because there's a ramp-up period. You have to buy the energy, and the energy business is extraordinarily complex. So no power had yet been delivered, but we had the contracts in place. The question was, all right, if the county's getting out, what, if anything, is the county going to owe for the power purchased for us that we're now not going to use? And the number was a big one. It was as much as $65 million. We've done a study, and those contracts are worth well north of $65 million, meaning they can be liquidated out on the open market, and the Power Authority will be in the black. So it's not going to cost the taxpayers a dime. If it's done right, the problem now is the folks running it don't give me confidence that they know how to run a government agency. I don't know if that clarifies. It's.
As we would say, it's clear as mud.
I apologize. It's clear as mud.
Did I see one more question? Did I see any?
Have
Angie.
you seen a decrease in child death with providing the Narcan to the schools and teachers? Have you seen a decrease?
The answer is it's a little too new for us to have good data on that, and so I'm not comfortable giving you an answer. Obviously, that's the hope. I mean, that's the point. But it's relatively new. I mean, we only within the last couple of months started getting it out into the schools. Now, some of the schools were ahead of the game. I mean, again, this is not a surprise to the schools. Some of the schools have it. We're just trying to help and make sure that they do if they don't. And so the schools have been pretty good about it. And ultimately, and I don't have an answer to your question, but what concerns me is that we may have a decrease in the percent, but it's in actual numbers an increase because so many more folks are exposed to and using it. And so that would mask, in some ways, the success of getting the Narcan out there, which is the point also of the public relations push.
I know that's such a serious topic. I do want to take time for just a little bit of a fun question. And we know It's always a great day in Orange, but it has been a bit gloomy. It seems like the longest winter in life, really. But I know you're a skier. So have you taken some free time to go ski this year? Do anything fun, Don?
Okay, so the answer to that is sort of yes.
Okay.
And the sort of is, I got up to Tahoe in February.
Okay.
Okay. And that was one of the weeks that the storm hit. I did one day on the, and the best part of the story is, and I got my 3-year-old granddaughter up there with me. So, that's so, you guys, that's heartwarming. Thank you. Yes. So we had the granddaughter up on skis for the first time. Went up there with a friend of hers. So these 2 little girls, 3 years old, both on skis. Great fun. The weather was horrible. It was snowing and it was cold and it was blowing, and the girls had a great time. But it just ended up snowing so badly that we didn't get back up on the hill the rest of the week, and then had trouble getting out because not my first time in the snow. I'm up in Tahoe, and I, of course, have the vehicle I've got out there, the SUV, and I've got my snow chains, and it's snowing, and it's the day we're supposed to leave, and I realized I had changed tires between buying the chains, which I had never used. I had no chains. It's like, what a rookie mistake, right? I'm driving all around Incline Village, and I'm slipping and sliding, and I'm going very carefully. By now, the granddaughter, thankfully, is not in the car with me. She's gone home. And I'm sliding all around, and nobody's got chains. So we end up driving down towards Tahoe City and King City to get out through Truckee, and roads are closed. And so I'm driving carefully, and my wife's calling, and we're trying to find, do you have chains? Do you have chains? And one guy says, well, I don't have any chains, but I've got the Caltrans channel on, and they just opened the road. It's like, let's get out of here. And managed to get out. 8 hours took 12.
Oh, wow.
But we got back. So was that a fun, relaxing vacation? I had my granddaughter with me. Oh. It was great fun. It was awesome. We built snowmen, we did sleds. Oh, it was just great.
I'm glad you got to take some time.
Yeah.
Well, we have here our business community. So the last question would be, do you have any final words for our business community, our chamber members?
Well, I'm going to say thank you again for what you guys are doing, and I'll repeat the mantra, which I say often and believe. And what I really think is awesome about this community isn't the government. As good as they may be at City Hall or at the County Hall of Administration, it's really the people doing it for themselves. It's the business groups. It's the nonprofits, the charity. It's the folks on the ground helping. And I want to say thank you to all of you for that. And to the extent my office can do anything to help, happy to do it. I have to give a shout out. We have Jerry Villander from the San Diego Serrano Water District here, who was instrumental in helping us get Irvine Lake reopened, and it was a team effort. It wasn't me. We've got so many other folks here that have volunteered in many ways throughout the community. The Coddles are helping us with our housing crisis, building affordable. We have a group here that does for itself, and if I can be of any help, that's what we're here for. You know where to find me. More importantly, you can't lose Pat.
Can't lose Pat.
And you all know Al Tello, who also is wonderful in my office. So thank you guys for what you're doing for Orange, for the 3rd District, and for the county.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Serrano.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so before we go ahead and go, I do have a couple of announcements. So we have BNG the 1st and 3rd Wednesday. So our next one is tomorrow. So join us for lunch. You definitely need to go and chat with everybody there. Ribbon cuttings, we have Palmyra Elementary on the 20th and Sunrise of Orange on the 27th. Our next Eggs and Issues is going to be on May 23rd. We will be hosting Mayor Pro Tem Ariana Barrios. Looking forward to seeing you, Ariana. We have our Orange May Parade. That is on May 6th. Is everybody here coming to May Parade?
Yes.
That's going to be so much fun, you guys. Look forward to a great time. Do we have any openings for sponsorship still? Okay, so it's closed. Come enjoy. And then last but not least, in May, we have a mixer that is going to be at Hello Optometry. Look for the date coming on that. As always, check our social media, check our website. Everything's always going to be on there. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, guys.
What you guys cannot see and cannot definitely taste out on Facebook is we are at Orange Cafe Bistro again. The food here was delicious. Liliana and Sean have been amazing this morning, so definitely come by, have breakfast with them. And that is all I have for today. Special thank you to our board, our staff, our Chairman Circle sponsors. We will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.